want to talk about Kamala Harris because we were away Friday and Monday. We took a 2-day break, long weekend. And as you know, this birther story came up with Kamala. And we know the history of Donald Trump. We know that for 5+ years, he put out this false narrative, which was a lie, that Barack Obama was not born in the United States. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're a Trump supporter. I don't care if you hate Barack Obama. You can't lie and just make stuff up. And that's exactly what Donald Trump did. It was a lie. Well, now we have this Chapman University law professor. His name is John Eastman. He wrote a column questioning Kamala Harris's eligibility to serve as vice president, and it set off a firestorm of debate and earned him a nod from President Trump. He said it's been quite an interesting couple of days. Eastman's column raised eyebrows when it was published, but it erupted into a national debate, and Trump discussed it at the White House the next day. And he praised this guy, Eastman. He called him a very highly qualified, very talented lawyer when he was asked in a press conference. And by the way, Harris was born in Oakland, and they claim that she may not be eligible to serve as vice president. So the president was asked about this, and he said, I heard it today that she doesn't meet the requirements, later adding, I have no idea if that's right. But then he gave credibility to the guy who wrote this article. And on Friday, Newsweek added an editor's note apologizing for publishing the column, saying that it was intended to explore a minority legal argument, but instead is being used as some sort of tool to perpetuate racism and xenophobia. Well, the president should have just said, I know nothing about that. Unless I see proof, I won't believe it to be true. And then we could have moved on to the next subject. But the president gave it legs. He gave the story legs, just like for 5 years. For 5 long years, he gave the story legs that Barack Obama wasn't born in the country, which was a blatant lie. And by the way, there are so many things on social media right now. If you want to talk about lies about Kamala Harris, first of all, this Pizzagate conspiracy that some of you idiots believe in. According to rumors about Ms. Harris that were all over social media, she's apparently tied to this conspiracy because her sister was invited by John Podesta, Ms. Clinton's presidential campaign manager, to a Hillary pizza party back in 2016. There is zero credibility to this. Do you remember when people were talking about Pizzagate and the Hillary Clinton, stringing out little girls and boys from a pizza parlor, and then a guy showed up with a gun? This is dangerous to put this stuff out there that is not true. Do you want to talk about Kamala's heritage? Let's talk about that. Let me give you some facts for you idiots out there. The falsehoods about her, that she's not black, among some of the most widely spread misinformation. Since Tuesday, the argument has been mentioned over 40,000 times. Kamala Harris is not an American black, said one tweet that collected 2,300 likes and shares.
She's not African American.
Okay, she is half Indian and half Jamaican.
Right.
She is, some people said she's robbing American blacks of their history. Kamala is as black American as Obama. In a Facebook post on Tuesday night, Candace Owens, a right-wing commentator, posted a widely shared post questioning Ms. Harris's heritage. She said, I am so excited that we get to watch Kamala Harris, who swore to Congress as an Indian American, now play the I am a black woman card all the way until November. That is factually inaccurate. Facebook soon added a fact check to Ms. Owens' post, requiring users to click past and label nothing that third-party fact checkers found this information has no basis in fact. Ms. Harris is the daughter of a Jamaican and Indian immigrant, born in 1964 in Oakland, California, a few years after her parents arrived in the United States.
Sure.
And she has identified herself as an African American, and she has for a very, very, very long time.
But she is an African American.
Okay, well, if you don't think she's black,
Barack Obama is. I didn't say she. I mean, Barack Obama is. She's definitely a woman of color. Okay, she's half Jamaican. She's half.
Okay.
By the way, and this is not being reported very much, but in Jamaica, her family owned 200 slaves. Did you know that?
I don't know how that's relative to this conversation.
She comes from a family that owned 200 slaves. She comes from a major slaveholder family in Jamaica. There's a town.
And how is she responding? Why should that be brought up?
There's a town called Brownstown, named after her family in Jamaica. She's a very prominent Jamaican family.
Okay, so we'll do it. We'll check on that, and we'll see if that's true or not. I don't know where you read that from. I don't know where the basis of that is found.
Where
did you hear that?
When she registered as a senator, did she actually register as an Indian American or an African American?
Right. She did both. And
She did.
and if you
she
look
did
at
both,
yes, because her father's from Jamaica, her mother has Indian heritage. But
Jamaica's not in Africa.
What Candace Owens did was factually inaccurate, and I haven't heard about that slave story from anybody. So if you're going to say that, we need to be right about that. So I'll check and see where you got that from. I don't know where you got that from, but even if that was true, which I've never heard it before, Kamala Harris has absolutely nothing to do with that. Zero. So I mean, there's probably sadly a lot of families out there that have had ancestors that were slave owners or were involved with slaves. That has no bearing to me in this conversation. Just as much bearing as her having a possible inappropriate sexual relationship 30 years ago. It has no bearing in whether she could be a good vice president or not.